Welcome to the Kopite podcast with your hosts Mick Moran and Jay Pearson.
Hello and welcome back to the Kopite podcast once again. As always, it's Jay and obviously I've got Mick alongside me. Mick, how you doing, pal? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
Still missing me?
Missing you loads, lad, loads.
And as you've probably noticed today, we are joined by the man who was between the sticks during our infamous 2001 treble winning season. No, it's not Peggy, our Pexad, it's Sander Westerveld. So, Sander, welcome today, mate. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for inviting me. Good to be here.
And how's life in lockdown for you?
Well, I must say we're quite lucky, I think, in Holland. If I speak to my Spanish friends or my South African friends, and I'm not sure how it is in England, but it's a definite lockdown there. They can't leave the house and they can't do anything. And here, it's literally called an intelligence lockdown. The thing we have, and yeah, we are allowed to do everything we want, except just keep it in mind. They say take the 1.5 meter, but I ride my bike. I go out with the kids to go to the woods, and we stay in as much as possible, but we still have a lot of freedom. So it went okay for 6 weeks, but the last couple of weeks has been a bit boring. But fortunately, I watched a lot of television the last couple of days.
Yeah, what have you been watching? Anything interesting?
I'm watching all the footy from 19 years ago, I think.
Well, obviously, it's a massive week for the club in terms of the anniversary. So obviously, it's a majority of what we'll talk about. But for our listeners as well, we want to sort of, every time we get a guest on, we try and gather how you joined the club, because obviously back then, you know, social media wasn't around and the internet was still in the baby internet, so you couldn't really get much information. So obviously before at Liverpool you made over 100 appearances for Vitesse Arnhem and you helped them qualify for Europe in '99, which obviously prompted Gerard Houllier to then pay, I think it was a British record fee for a goalkeeper at that time.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Do you remember how the move came about and who contacted you? And
Yeah, definitely, because it was I don't want to call it funny, but Liverpool wanted a new goalkeeper, and they made a list, and apparently I was in the top 10 to start, so that was good. But I think number one was Edwin van der Sar.
Right.
And Houllier told me that they went out to see van der Sar playing in Amsterdam against Vitesse, my team. And at that day, we beat Vitesse with after a long kick. I gave an assist to our striker, and he scored the winning goal. And a couple of weeks after the game, I think it was Van der Sar that says that Liverpool wasn't big enough for him. So he joined Juventus. And then, I don't know if I was number 2 on the list, but at least it was still in the back of the mind that that game. And Houllier and Joe Corrigan and I think Phil Thompson as well, they came over and watched a couple of games of me and Vitesse. Yeah. And I remember clearly that they, after a game against PSV Eindhoven, they joined me in my house. And the question was, do you want to play for Liverpool? And I said, next question. So then it all started. So it was, sometimes you need to be a little bit lucky and be on the right time at the right place. And yeah, that happened for me at that time.
Yeah, I didn't know that. When you look from a fan's perspective, we always look forward to some review going to bring in, who's going to go, and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, I remember that transfer window being a really busy one because we'd signed yourself, Didi Hamann, Schmeitzer, Sami Hyypiä, Stefan Arncho. So, and all those names yourself made huge impacts on the club. But when you joined and those players were arriving, did you feel like there was something special? Because I assumed you knew Sami Hyypiä anyway from your time in the Dutch league anyway. Yeah,
and it was good for me as well. He spoke Dutch and I knew him. Obviously, we had Eric Meyer as well, who joined the club. And it's always easy when you know somebody, so you're not by yourself. And it was just my dream. And I know it's in every interview and every press conference, the new players say it was my club when I was young, when I grew up. But for me, it was definitely Liverpool when I was always a kid, and it was a dream, and it was a dream my dream came true when I signed for Liverpool, and yeah, right from the very first moment, I know that for the fans, I was unknown. I wasn't the player from Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, but I had a lot of confidence in myself, and they wanted to start a whole new. They were building a new team. I think they bought 8 players at that time, and they want to switch everything around. And yeah, I was happy to be a part of that. And I think, yeah, they asked me in the beginning if I wanted to come because they were struggling in defense. They said they were conceding too many goals, and they want to tighten up the back. And I think after our first year, I'm not sure, but I think we had the most clean sheets and at least the best defense. So yeah, we were happy after the first year, but that was more or less the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just about to say, I think it was about 14, 15, 16 clean sheets you kept, which for a debut season as a goalkeeper is incredible. And like you said, you're playing in front of like a new back four, if you like, and it couldn't have gone any better from a personal perspective as well. But you made your debut Sheffield Wednesday. Do you remember much about your debut?
No, I don't even remember the the goal I conceded. I just remember we won 2-1.
Yeah.
It was away from home. That's it. And I haven't seen any highlights either.
Yeah, exactly.
So I remember my first game at Anfield the week after, but from Sheffield, I'm not sure. No, but yeah, like you said before, I was happy with my first year. Obviously, I was young goalkeeper that was not experienced in the Premier League, and I tried to adapt as quickly as possible. And it was difficult for me as well because it would have been easier if we didn't sign Sami Hyypiä probably, because I remember after 5 games, I think the press was like, maybe he's a good goalkeeper, but we haven't seen anything from him, because Sami Hyypiä from day one and Stefan Henshaw, they were playing superb. And I remember games that I didn't even touch the ball. I remember after away game at Coventry, I'm not sure the first or the second year, but I did an extra training session with the reserves after the game because I never touched the ball. So it would have probably been better if I got more work to do in the beginning to adapt. And but obviously it was amazing to play behind Sami Hyypiä and Stefan Henshaw, and yeah, it was quite clearly I think from the very first game they played both that they would end up as big players for Liverpool.
Absolutely. And obviously, before we move on to the next season, I've got to ask you about your first Merseyside derby, because obviously it was an eventful one. Steven Gerrard is widely well known, for kicking the shit out of Kevin Campbell that day.
As you do.
Yeah, you do. But also, you're in a bit of fisticuffs yourself with Franny Jeffers. Bit of nothing, wasn't it? But I tell you what, mate.
That's what.
That's the way to do it.
No, but it was my first derby, and it was everything about it. I was, and still am, but if I play, I want to win. I play in an aggressive way. I'm an aggressive goalkeeper who likes to take risk, but gives everything on the pitch and leaves the field totally worn down, and that's what happened. And I think it was a score. We were losing 1-0. Something happened in the first half. I had a little a little go at Franny, and so in the second half, if I'd known before that I would have got a red card, I probably would try to smack him down as well. But now, in the back of my mind, I was only defending myself. I had the ball, and he tried to fetch it for me, and he tried to hit me. You can see the pictures as well. He's having a go at me, and I'm just half defending. It was like how do they call it? A handbag fight, I think they call it in England, which it was. but I never knew I would be. This is England, and I thought it would be like, hey, here you can play aggressive, and I don't think it was enough to give us both a red card, and I was a bit surprised, but very disappointed afterwards. Of course, yeah, when you get a red card and you lose, you feel responsible, and I really felt sorry for the boys and for the fans as well, because this is the biggest game for the fans, and if you lose in the way we did, then it's not nice to start the first derby.
Well, I mean, when you look back at the game, mate, I mean, you weren't at fault for anything. It was more, in fact, to tell you, it was Jamie Carragher was at fault for that. To be fair, the way he played everybody on side. So, don't blame yourself, mate, especially being that late on in the game. And it's one of them funny things that Everton still talk about.
But it's a funny thing as well, because I remember having a press conference. I think the press were all like, well, not criticizing, but it's obviously stupid to have a red card in a fight. But I remember that Houllier, after the game, the day after at Melwood, called me in his office, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get bollocks. And right away he says, that was great. I loved it. He says, you showed character, and that's the spirit we need. And that we were lacking this, and now obviously with Carragher and Stevie G as well, it wasn't right, because we got a red card, but he wanted plays like this, and it showed that it showed courage, and it shows you wanted to win the game and with passion, and so it was all. I was like, all right. I expected to be criticized, and ended up being like, walking out of the office like, oh wow. That was fun. So yeah, that was also like a fun experience. But that showed enough that that's the spirit we want in the game as well. We needed players that bring that to the game, and I always try to do that. So
fair play. So if we move on to the next season, we already added Emil Eskin early on in the March. The back end of the season before, and we added the likes of Marcus Babbel, Nick Barmby, Gary McAllister to the squad. So, based on the season you had previously, plus those names being added, did you feel then, think, right, we can really make the challenge for some top prizes?
Obviously, we thought we had an okay season, but we still, we qualified for Europe, which we didn't in my first year. We didn't play in Europe. So yeah, everything was positive, and we felt like we were in a lift. We were going places, and obviously nobody expected to have a season like we did, and we ended up doing. But we knew that we were getting closer to the top and getting better every year. And with a couple of good signings, what we did, we knew we were good. Obviously, we never know how good you are, and but yeah, and sometimes you have to have a little bit of luck. I think in the league we were maybe too inconsistent. Typical, probably Liverpool or any top club anywhere, like playing well against Man United, beating them twice away, and then losing against Bradford at home, or games like that. That's what we had, but. Fortunately for us, we had a good cup spirit, and in all the cups we played in a different way, and I compared it with sometimes with Everton. I had press conferences after the game against Everton and the derbies, even in Italy and in Spain where I played derbies. I told them as well after the Everton game, if Everton plays like this every week, I don't understand, because they can play like this. So why don't they play like they can be like us? But for some reason they could only do that against us in the derby. And sometimes you have teams like this, and we had probably a team that was too inconsistent still to win the league. But again, I think the second year we ended up third in the league, if I'm correct, fourth or third. We qualified for the Champions League for the first time in the last day. So I felt we were getting better and better every year, and we felt it in the team as well. And especially those cup runs were unbelievable.
Definitely.
Yeah, just obviously we've touched on the players that were signed. obviously it was yourself and Hippier, Hornshaw, Babel, and Carragher. Was that the key to the success? That it was that back five was just so strong and just you had a good relationship.
No, I think that definitely the base of the team, the back four and the players that were playing in front of the back four, that was vital for that season. If you have a good back four and a goalkeeper who sometimes wins you a couple of points, then you can see that now with Alisson. You need obviously a striker. You hope to have a top scorer of the league. That will help. But a lot of times when in the season with Suarez, for example, and Torres, you had a top striker, but the defense wasn't. We were, conceding too many goals. We had a good defense, and then you can build from there. You can just. I think the biggest thing from that season was not only the players we signed, but also the difference from the first year and the second year was, I think, the whole squad. I think we had a strong squad that with the rotation system that Houllier brought in. I think we had different teams with the same quality. So we could play 1 week away at Man United on a Sunday and then change maybe 4 or 5 players and play the European game on a Tuesday or Wednesday and still come out with the result. And I think that was a big thing about that season, that we had a better and a bigger squad. Normally, when you have your best 11, if you take one out, the one who comes in is normally less good. But we could change the whole the strikers as well. We had Michael and Heskey, and then you could put in Robbie Fowler, and we had Nicky Bambi on the side. We had Smitzer as well. So we had a lot of Liedmanen came in, so we could rotate a little bit more than the years before. I think that was a big thing.
Definitely.
And Gary McAllister.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the key. You always need a balance in the team, and I think in the first year we were inconsistent. Maybe we had good players in some areas and almost all the areas, but. Gary McAllister brought something else. He brought experience with him. So we had young players, a lot of young players, like the lads of me. I was 24. Sami Hupia are the same, 2 years older, but Carragher came in, Stevie G, young players. Michael was still young. And then you need a player like Gary McAllister. And when he came, I think we all gelled together. And we had great midfielders like Hamann, but with Gary, he brought something else, and he showed that on decisive moments, decisive goals, penalties, but also the way slowing down the game, speeding up, and giving the right attitude. So that was, I think, he was vital for us.
So, Sander, if we move a bit forward into the season, then we look at the League Cup final against Birmingham.
Yeah.
Obviously, for yourself, it's your first League Cup. Well, it's your first cup final for Liverpool, and it was the chance for Liverpool to win their first trophy since '95. Let's just face it, the game could have gone a lot smoother, obviously. We had last-minute penalties in normal time, and penalty not given for Birmingham in extra time, and it goes to penalties.
Yep.
As a goalkeeper, what's going through your mind knowing that you could be the man to deliver this trophy for Liverpool?
Obviously, No, it was more like I knew that I was like Pepe Reina. If you look at the statistics in Spain of Pepe, you could see that he stops more penalties than he concedes. I think before the Birmingham game, I've never and still haven't lost a penalty series in my career, and that gives you as a goalkeeper a lot of confidence. And I always had confidence, and more in penalty shootouts, because you can't do wrong. You can only be the hero. If you dive 5 times to the wrong side, then still they won't blame you. So what can happen? Nothing. You can only be the hero. So I was really looking forward to the penalty series, and obviously I was good in penalties. And there was a moment that after, like you said, I think it was 10 years, bringing home a trophy, and so early in the season, which could have given us and did a lot of confidence and experience in playing finals. And although it wasn't the best final we played. I'm not sure if we deserved it either, but at the end, you're the one with the cup.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key moment of that season as well. Winning that first one, and then coming back for the FA Cup in the same dressing room, the same stadium, gave us the experience, but also the confidence that we could go places and win,
Definitely.
even difficult games.
Mm.
Yeah, and you obviously saved two of the 5-spot kicks. In terms of practicing and training, did you go above and beyond your usual amount of practicing those type of things when you were going into a final, or was it just business as normal?
Yeah, it was a bit sort of business as normal, because I don't think you can train a lot on penalty, because it's a mental thing, and it's a big discussion always and every time again. You can train or you can't train on penalties. As a goalkeeper, obviously you got your list of players from the opponents that maybe the scouting staff, they've seen them before, they've seen them take penalties before. From the 10 penalties, they maybe kick 8 times to the left, or so things like this. Little details help. Then you got your own techniques, like maybe you're not standing in the middle of the goal, or you're moving just before you're trying to get him out of his concentration. You're trying to move just before he shoots. You move to the other side, and all these little things you can do. But at the end of the day, if you have a cool penalty kicker and he just with his technique, everybody can kick a ball. It all comes down like walking with that ball, that 50 meters towards the fans, and especially on that end where the Liverpool fans were. Yeah, that you had to be really cool to keep your nerves, and fortunately for us, not everybody could do that.
Oh, but you could see on your face, though, mate, the minute you saved Andy Johnson's penalty, you just arms in the air, big smile on your face, and you know.
But that's, you could see how much it meant to me as well, and also as a goalkeeper. Like I said, this is the best and the biggest moments for goalkeepers. You want to be decisive for the game, for the team. You want to win games and save all the balls, of course, and if you can do that in a penalty series like this, after 10 years bringing home a cup, it really meant a lot for me.
Fair point, mate. Well, it was a busy time for the club. Obviously, we bag a trophy, which is great. You mentioned before we've done really well in the cups, and a few weeks later we're playing in some really, really big UEFA Cup ties. And I just want to go to the first sort of big one that we had with the quarters against Roma. Just to get a little story and get your opinion on it, because we asked Marcus about it last week, and obviously
What did he say?
Well, we mentioned about the handball in the second leg.
So he said what handball?
Yeah, so
Pretty much, yeah.
Probably.
Obviously, the referee had blew his whistle for the penalty, and then he points to the penalty spot, and then he goes to point for a corner. I mean, as a fan watching it, I'm shitting myself going, right, there we go. It's going to be 2-2 on aggregate, and then he changes his mind. What did you make of it?
Yeah, exactly the same. And it's funny because I'm still working at football, doing loads of stuff, and I come across a lot of ex-players and legends, and I'm good friends with Gianni Guizou, and he actually played a guy from Uruguay, and he played in that game, and we often talk about that game. And I can't say anything else than everybody's seen on television. He stops the ball with his hand and he points to the penalty spot, and then changes his mind. He must have. He said after the game he didn't change his mind. But so the first second I thought penalty, and right, like I said before, with all my confidence I had, I was thinking, wow, that would be a great moment to save it. If you just save a penalty just in a couple of minutes before time, and then go into the next round. So I was thinking about like, okay, yes, go on, I'm going to save this one. And then suddenly he gave a corner. And that was all, of course. I think the 2001, and we can speak for hours about it, and it will come back, I think, 20 times. We were not lacking any luck. We had so many games where it could have been totally different. But for some reason, if you make your own luck as well. That's what they say. So he must have done something right. And we had obviously a great result away from home in Rome. And at the end, it was enough. But I was never shitting myself during games. I've got a lot of confidence, like I said before, and I thought I was going to save that penalty, like I did against Birmingham in the last minute, which I almost touched. But that was obviously a big relief when he suddenly pointed to the corner flag.
Yeah, and we were all bloody relieved as well, mate. But obviously it put us through, and then we're in the semis against Barcelona. Decent defensive display in the camp. Then we come back to Anfield.
Worst game of my life.
Was it which one? The first leg or the second leg?
The first one, because I keep continuous in all the interviews. I'm saying, like, I'm so happy that I in all the games and all the teams I played for and all the clubs I played for, we play attacking football, which I like. And I never played for a team like Mourinho, with all respect. If you see the Inter Milan game against Barcelona, and obviously in many games where he parks the bus, I don't like to play like this, and I don't want to win like this. But this game, I don't know if there's any highlights from the game, because I remember from that game is when you have the ball, take as much time as you have, kick the ball as far away as possible, and especially out as close to the corner flag as you can. And Michael didn't even run for the ball. I just kicked the ball, and he stopped at the halfway line, and we all like trying to defend. And I remember all the Dutch players afterwards, like coming to, and like chickens, and I was walking off the pitch like this, like, oh. But at the end, it was sitting in the bus afterwards. The result is amazing, and the way you do it, and we were so confident that we could finish it off at home at Anfield with the fans, that we definitely, even after the game, thought we still have a massive game to go, but we were really confident, and we were really happy with the result.
Yeah, and like I said, the second leg was brilliant in a way. Obviously, Gary Mack had a big week, banging in the free kick against Everton. Then he scores against Barcelona. And then obviously, let's not forget the contribution you made with that save from Rivaldo from 45 yards. Got your fingertips.
Oh, I thought you meant the second half where I kicked over the ball, where I gave everybody a scare.
Yeah.
And nobody knew it was already offside. I saw the guy with the flag, and it was offside anyway. So I just wanted to smash the ball as far as possible over the stadium, which I often did. Sometimes when we had somebody on the floor for an injury, and I had to kick the ball out, I used to try to kick it out of the stadium, which I happened to do a couple of times. So I wanted to kick the ball to the Kop end, and I totally missed it. But I saw the flag already, so it would have been cancelled anyway. But yeah, I think if you see the highlights, I think it was the only save I made. Maybe it was an important one, and it was a nice one for the goalkeeper, a difficult one because it was swerving. So maybe it looked like a little bit like a photo shoot dive sometimes, but it was necessary, and happy to have been. Well, sometimes a goalkeeper, like I said, you want to be important, and if you can be decisive with saves and help the team, then it's obviously great.
Exactly.
No, I watched the highlights of that game the other day, and I remember that shot, and I was thinking, it doesn't even look like he's going to shoot though at the time, so it makes it even more impressive because there's like no backlift, he just strikes it, and then obviously I was like, Jesus, the amount of power he got in it was ridiculous, and obviously it makes it even better.
Yeah, and then obviously it just ended up just underneath the crossbar as well, which is unbelievable. If you can see from the highlight, if you see the ball, it doesn't even move, it doesn't turn, it just goes straight in the air and swerves, but it was a really strange shot. So I could only react at the last second. I couldn't go before position or just tap it over. It was just I had to wait for the last second when it was close to me to make the decision to jump or to dive. And fortunately, I just got a finger to it, and it was enough.
It was, mate. I bet it's mad, isn't it? Reina played in that game as well, and that just a lot of people just forget about that as well, because that Reina's making his Anfield debut there as well. It's just there's some little things that just fall into place there, mate. But you got Scotland in where
Sorry, what was that? I didn't hear you.
We're just saying, like, obviously with the vital save, the Gary Mack penalty, you know, and it got us to Dortmund, mate. Which, you know, it's a first European final in 15 years, so it was a fantastic night.
Yeah, and obviously
It was, and especially for us as well, because we had all the Dutch players in the team of Barcelona, and Louis van Gaal, obviously. No, it wasn't van Gaal. No, it was Ferrer. But the goalkeeper coach was still there, and obviously all the Dutch players. So it was a special game for me. Everybody in Holland were watching, and I really wanted to win that game. And I think we knew before the game as well the results of the other team. I think Alaves played the day before.
Yeah, they were
not correct.
Yeah.
So we didn't know. We didn't say after the game whether we already won the final, but we were really happy getting into the final, of course, and we were very confident as well.
Yeah.
But it was just an amazing night, and we had so many of them in 2001. Even the Porto game, I remember, and the Roma, and away and at home. So it was Olympiacos. I think it was a great game as well, and it was just amazing, and it was a special year.
Yeah, and obviously before we got to the final in Dortmund, we had the small matter of the FA Cup final 3 days earlier. Can you tell us all about that day? Because it was, I think I was only 11 at the time, so I was really young, but I just remember thinking, this is fucking crazy. Like, it was just a mad game, wasn't it?
It was just
pub drinking shandies at 16, and I think I just needed more. Just riding our luck the entire game.
And even for me as a goalkeeper, it was just it's even mad if you watch it back, like today as well. I think yesterday they put some highlights on again. It was just one of those, and we've been speaking about luck. Sometimes you need a bit of luck, and sometimes you need a little bit more than luck. Which I think at that game, again, everything went for us. And sometimes in games like this, for example, if they miss a penalty or somebody from close range misses a shot, then as the team, you feel like, oh wow, okay, I think we are lucky. So that gives you the confidence to lift yourself. But I mean, this was just like 85 minutes. We couldn't do anything. I think they were battering us, and to be honest, we could have lost, or we should have maybe 3 or 4-0. But at the end, I think one of the only really clear chances they had was the shot that Henshaw saved. And for the rest, they were all like, okay, yeah, I made a save and 1-on-1 with Henry. The other one, they chipped me, but I came out, and I always have with my defenders, if I run out of the box, if I come for a cross, I want at least 2 defenders on the line to block the line, which we did all the time. And I came out, and I remember, I think it was Ljungberg or Pires, maybe somebody chipped me, and there was Sami Hyypiä who headed the ball away. The one Henry again, or it was the same one. I think it was a 1-on-1 as well. Sami, I think he had 3 cleared the ball on the goal lines, but it wasn't like they missed an open goal. But they obviously had the better chances. We didn't have one. Yeah, probably the other from me was Heskey, straight at Seaman. But the thing I remember was that I remember looking at the clock in the 85th minute, and it was 1-0 down, and I was like, oh, please, come on. That's not bad, 1-0. Just blow your whistle, and it's over. We lose 1-0. That's no problem. That's okay. It's just, we should have lost 5-0, but 1-0 is okay. And the moment when Michael scored, and I was looking at the clock with a couple of minutes to go, looking at the clock, and again thinking, oh, now it's going to be penalties, and now I can have the penalty series again. And suddenly I was like, yeah, here we go. And we tried to just defend the 1-1, and obviously everybody knows, Paddy Berger got the ball and tried to kick it deep, and from an angle which I think is still impossible to score, Michael just put it in the corner. And I wanted to say I've never been happy in my life, but I've been happy in an amazing way a couple of times that season. Also that free kick against Everton from Gary Mack. I remember the explosion of happiness is just the best feeling ever. And we had that in the FA Cup. The moment Michael scored was just like, yeah. And then again, you walk off the pitch, and you didn't want to walk off like this. Like, whew, it was more like, yeah, it doesn't matter how. I've got the hands on the cup. And yeah, we had it another time, I think, that season.
Oh, mate, and you summed it up perfectly there. And as we said before, you've got the FA Cup final. You've gone through all that emotion of snapping the game, but then you've got to get your head ready because 3 days later, we're playing in Dortmund against Alaves, and it was arguably the FA Cup final of all time. But what was going through your mind during that game?
First of all, I think there was a big argument with the Germans after the game, after the FA Cup, because Houllier said and Phil Thompson says, "Okay, boys, we have dinner with the family now in the hotel. We have one glass of champagne, and then it's off to bed. Nobody drinks. There's no party." And the Germans were like, "Oh, hey, in Germany with Bayern Munich, we won a couple of times. We had the trebles, but you have to celebrate every final. If you win something, you have to celebrate it." And they say, "Yeah, well, what happens if you lose or whatever? Then you missed it. We have to celebrate." So they really wanted to celebrate. And Houllier says, "No. This is just focus on the next game. Just make sure we get the next one, and then we'll have a party." Yeah. And whatever happened, of course, we had the Alaves game. We won, and we still didn't have a party because we still had to beat Charlton on a Saturday. So it was the same discussion again. And I remember the Germans after the Alaves games, like, "Yeah, for sure we can have a party now." Rafa, and he says, "No, Charlton on Saturday, and then you can do whatever you want." And so that was a funny thing. And then fortunately for us, yeah, we won all the games, so we could at least celebrate after. But Alaves, yeah, I don't know if it's luck because I think we really deserve to win that one. So it wasn't really luck. It was just bad luck, maybe, that we didn't win it so easy because we should have won. We were 3-1 up. There was no problem. We were all over them. They were nervous. Second half, they got a man, I think a red card. We played against 10, even 9 men. And yeah, we should have beat them earlier in the game. And they were lucky, I think, to come back within 5 minutes. They were lucky with 2 chances, and they hit the target and scored twice. Yeah, then it was just a shitty one for me as well. As a goalkeeper, you obviously, you want to be involved. And I remember I made a double save in the first half and a 1-on-1. But that's it. I never touched the ball in the whole game. And I remember coming after halftime, coming into the game. And I was not stiff, but I was not feeling 100%. I was just like, I never got into the game. And then 5 minutes later, it was already 3-3. So it was a really difficult game for me to perform. And that's not the excuse for conceding the last goal, the fourth goal. But it was just a shit goal and a shit game for me as a goalkeeper. But at the end, again, I was the one with the picture with the cup, and that's what what's important. And conceding 4 in a final is never good for a goalkeeper, and especially not in the way. I gave the goal away in the last minute from Jordi Cruijff from the corner, but at the end we won, and I'm the one with the medals and not Jordi Cruijff, so I was still happy after.
Yes, I love that.
It was a crazy. I think it's until 2005, people were still talking about the best final ever, and it had everything. It had a lot of goals. It had red cards, and it was excitement, extra time, a golden goal, which is also funny because I didn't know about the golden goal, and obviously before the game they told me, but I forgot about it. So my family was in the cup end behind me, and I remember Gary Mack putting the cross in, and they headed it in their own goal, and everybody was happy. And I was so happy. I turned around to the fans and to the family. I was looking to the family. I was like, yeah, and I was thinking, oh, we're not going to give this away. And then after a couple of seconds, I turned around, and everybody was on the pitch on the other side, and I was like, oh, and then I started running. But that was fun.
Brilliant. Well, I mean, like you said before about celebrating, you weren't allowed to celebrate after that. But then we go to Charlton, we win 4-0. And Marcus Babbel told us that on the drive on the way home from the Charlton game, they stopped off at Tesco and got a load of beer.
Yes, because that was one of the things that Houllier brought into the club, just like Wenger did at Arsenal. I remember Bergkamp told me about when Wenger came to France, they couldn't eat sandwiches with the ham and with marmalade, and the alcohol. Obviously, when we came, we just had a famous Christmas party before I was there, and it was a big thing in the press. And it was no alcohol allowed after games in the players' lounge at Anfield, and also after home games when we were in the bus in the coach, we were never allowed to have a beer. And of course, the Germans and the English and the Dutch as well, we like to have a beer after the game when it's possible. We were never allowed to. And then after the Charlton game, when we finally were allowed to celebrate, that was, I think, the first stop. I think we were just a couple of 100 yards outside of the stadium when we spotted the Tesco, and they were running. I think they bought all the beers they had to bring it to the coach, and then we had a big party. So fortunately for us, we won all the finals and had a party well deserved.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, we all wanted Champions League football at the beginning of that summer, and that was the actual goal. But to come away with all the cups, 3 out of the 4 trophies available in the Champions League spot. Carragher says Istanbul was his best moment as a footballer, but he said that was his best, and you can understand that completely, can't you?
Of course. The one who was missing was probably the league. But like we said, we were building a team. First year, best defense, ended up 4th. I think that season we were 3rd or 2nd, 3rd, but the first time in the history that we qualified for the Champions League. So it was just, we were getting on the ladder to the top, and we were getting better and better. And obviously, that season winning all those cups, the treble. It's not the same as the Champions League, because Champions League is a bigger cup, but it's also for me as a goalkeeper. It's I say it all the time. Like it's not easy, but if you win a Champions League at the club, everybody will say, "Oh, it's great, you're a legend." But still, it happened 6 times before. So nobody ever had 5 trophies in one season, in one calendar year, and a treble. So that's what really, the proudest moment of myself at Liverpool, and looking back, is that I was able to write history with that team. And of course, you can win trophies, you can win leagues, but winning the treble and 5 trophies in one calendar year is just amazing.
That's it, Sam. And not many goalkeepers can say that they've done that. Not many players can say they've done that. I think that brings us nicely, and like we said before, we don't want to talk about negative stuff, but it's a story that's always bugged me, and I've always wanted to ask you about it, for years.
No, I never had an affair with Houlier's missus.
Yeah, have you seen?
Not true. Not true. Well, the good thing is I can laugh about it now.
Well, the thing, and I think, for us, we look at the 27th of August 2001. You've just won 5 trophies in the calendar year. You make a mistake against Bolton, which nobody's perfect. Every goalkeeper will do a mistake. Alisson's done it. Loris Karius has done it. And
the important thing is as well, I lose 1 point.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't lose the game. We were not winning the game or whatever. I lost 1 point. But I can finish stories. And I after the Bolton game, I knew there were rumors about getting in a new goalkeeper. And the story is that Houllier told me that they are going to bring in a new goalkeeper. The only thing I don't know is if I'm going to bring a goalkeeper of your age or older, so you can fight, so you can lift yourself up both to a higher level, or I bring in a young goalkeeper that you are the number 1, and then the young goalkeeper is for the future. That's the thing he told me. He told me in Austria in the preseason, like, you are my number 1. I think you can be the one of the 3 best goalkeepers in the world in the future. And so he was all positive. So I just played my best game. I played for Liverpool in the Charity Shield against Man United, where I won the Man of the Match award. And finally, after more than 100 games for Liverpool, Mark Lawrence was positive about me after the game. And even him and Alan Hansen said, well, I think finally we have a goalkeeper for the future, and he looks the part. And yeah, I just won 5 prizes, 5 trophies. And like I said before, I was young when I came, 24. I tried to adapt quickly. Of course, I made mistakes, but I still have the feeling that I was getting better and better all the time, and I was good enough to proceed. And it was so hard at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they bought Kirkland. I was with the national team, and I remember Mark Overmars from Arsenal came to me and says, "Hey, look, they bought the young kid, so you should smile. You should be okay." And it's not. And then a couple of hours later, they bought Dudek. Obviously, after I found out it was a mistake of the club. They wanted Dudek in the beginning. They couldn't finalize the deal. They went for Kirkland. And then they pulled out of the Dudek deal, and I saw the fax from Feyenoord where they said that Liverpool was pulling out, but they still have to take him because they had an agreement. So at the end, they had to take them both. It was just talking about luck and bad luck. I think the Bolton mistake was just bad luck for me, so they had to stick to hit me. But it was just, yeah, it still hurts me until now, and it hurt me for years after, and I couldn't be positive about Liverpool or anything around Liverpool, and I didn't want Liverpool to lose, never, because it's still my club. I supported as a little boy, but it hurt so much that I sometimes wanted to. All the games of Liverpool ended 5-4 with 4 goalkeeper mistakes, but yeah, it was just one of those that I was okay if they would have bought 1 goalkeeper and I could fight for my place. And then I still had confidence enough that I would fight I would get my place back. If you have a goalkeeper who's not performing, or you're not happy with a goalkeeper, get another one, put him on the bench, like they did with Mignolet, with Karius. But they always have a chance to fight back. Dudek, he was put on the bench as well, and Kirkland came, and then Dudek came back again. So I never had the chance, and that's the thing that hurt me the most. That I was just out, and I never had a chance to fight back. And but then again, after a couple of years, which I really wasn't happy with Houllier, I think it was my wife that says you should be happy that Houllier was the one that signed you and gave you the opportunity to play more than 100 games for Liverpool. So yeah, at the end, what can you say? I'm happy and disappointed, but I'm still happy that I was a part of Liverpool's history, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And you certainly didn't deserve for 2 goalkeepers to come in and push out, considering what you'd done for the club the previous season, though, and obviously the year. So what was unfair, but I'm telling you right now, Sander, for on behalf of Liverpool fans, you're not remembered for that. You are remembered for everything that you did in that season and in the calendar year, mate. So there's no negativity from us on your part. So
no, but that's I want to add as well. I play Liverpool games and Legends games, and I come over around maybe 10 times in a season. And I must say that from the very first day after I left, the first day I came back to Liverpool, the fans have been absolutely amazing, and everybody I speak to is positive, and that obviously helped me a lot in getting this the black, how you guess, the black part of my career, and turn it around in something positive. That like I said, sometimes you just you can't control the uncontrollables, and there was something out of my hands, and like I said, it really gives a lot of energy to me that the fans are so positive every time I'm back, and it's great to see us still if I play Legends games at Anfield, the reception I get is just amazing.
It's well deserved, mate.
So thank you as well, all the fans.
It's well deserved. You gave us some fantastic memories, so it's the least we can do for you.
Cheers.
But one final question, and Mick, it's Mick's favourite question I likes to ask people, innit? Go on, mate.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the show, Sander, we do an ultimate 5-a-side team. So you've got to pick your ultimate 5-a-side team that you've played with.
5-a-side team. How can I play 5 players? How can I pick 5 players? No, but this I just got a mail of Liverpool of an LFC TV who are asking me for next week the same questions, and I'm really struggling because I was fortunate to play amongst big stars in different competitions and different teams, and I played with Makai, European top scorer in 2002 or 3. I played with Ruud van Nistelrooy. Patrick Kluivert at Bergkamp with the national team, and then I played with all the Liverpool stars. So how can I pick 5 of those? If I pick Michael Owen, and Robbie Fowler will be pissed off. If I pick Rob, it's the same the other way around. If I pick a midfielder, Stevie G, then Maka will be. So it's almost impossible. The only thing is maybe the back 4 is like if I pick Carragher on the right back, my friend Marcus Bubble will kill me, and I love him as well to bits. So I think the only 2 I'm 100% sure of is maybe do I have to pick one I played with or just a favorite Liverpool team of all time? Or
it's your choice. It's your five-side. Just like
Virgil van Dijk play together with Sami Hyypiä in the centre.
Yeah, there you go. If you want.
That's the only thing I.
By the way, just to let you know that.
Sorry, Marcus didn't pick me.
He picked Oliver Kahn.
Oh, so you can pick everybody. Oh yeah, no, I can't put myself in the team, so I have to put in. The other day there was a list of goalkeepers at Liverpool as well, and then there's a big story. Gobelaar, Ray Clemens, Reina Dudek. It's impossible to choose.
Well, I'll tell you what, you in goal, and then you're the
No,
goal.
I put Van der Sar in goal then, probably. I don't want to put Peter Schmeichel in goal because he's from Man United. So I put Van der Sar in goal, although he didn't want to play for Liverpool. But it was one of his big mistakes. He went to Juventus, and that's karma. He got kicked out as well after a couple of years. He should have come to Liverpool. But that's one. Then I have, Sami Hyypiä or Virgil van Dijk. They must be in the defense. So we have 3. Do I need to pick 2 strikers or a midfield and a striker? I put Stevie G, of course, 100% Stevie G. And then as a striker, I'm not sure if that goes well. No, not Van Ristel. No, not Ruud. So that will probably be. We have a full Liverpool team as well, maybe an all-time Liverpool team, like Michael and Robbie together. Is that okay?
That's absolutely fine. It's your team.
All right.
Your team. Love that.
Van der Sar, he's really lucky to play in a 5-a-side team like that, but. I'll give him the credits because I was behind him for 5 years, and it's never easy to sit on the bench. I know that for sure, as for my experience. But to sit behind one of the best goalkeepers in the world makes it a little bit easier. So let's put him in the team.
Perfect 5-a-side team, mate. It's definitely better than Bolo's Endings team, anyway.
Is it? I wasn't in his team either, was I?
No, he wasn't picked in his team either, mate. I'm
the one with the trophies anyway. So,
where'd you keep your 5 medals anyway? Are they in a special place?
No. I just got them. I was just going to all my old stuff, as you do in the Corona time now. You've got time for everything. And we just opened boxes I never knew I had, and I found all the medals, and I put them there. They're still in the basement. But I still need to find a special place. I don't like to hang them up and put them on the walls and show pictures of myself. They're in a good spot, and I'll keep them close to my heart.
Brilliant. Just got to ask you a quick one, Sam, before you go. What do you make of the current season? What's going on? Obviously, your 2 fellow countrymen, Gini Wijnaldum and Virgil van Dijk, are star players for us. What have you made of obviously this season? How good Liverpool have been?
No, they should have won the league last year, of course, and they were amazing last year. And we talked before about the balance in the team that we didn't have in the last 10 years. I think it was always a good one. You had a good defender, a good goalkeeper, a good striker, but never everybody together. And like the last couple of years, and especially when Klopp came, I put on Twitter like, "This is the best signing in 10 years." I knew how good he was, and it took him a couple of years, but if you see his work now, it's just unbelievable. And it's not only the results, but also the way we play. It's just unbelievable to watch. And 25 points from the number 2 is just unbelievable. And like I said last year, Man City was amazing. Otherwise, we should have won it last year. But this year, hopefully they can finish the season and we win it. But this could be, I think, the last 2 years, maybe the last 2 teams, maybe the best team ever in the history of Liverpool.
Definitely, mate. Well, fingers crossed we get our hands on that trophy as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But Santa, listen, I could sit here all night and talk to you about it. I really could.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been really good, mate. And like I said, next time we'd love to get you back on. Maybe try and, once this is all over, mate, we'll have a sit-down, face-to-face conversation, once Liverpool won the league as well.
Oh, no, definitely. I'm over a lot, so yeah, for sure.
Pleasure, mate. Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us, Sandy. We really appreciate it. And all the best to you and the family. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Can't wait to get you back.
All the best with the program.
Cheers, buddy. All the best, mate.
All right. Take care. Ciao.
See you later.